day, everyone, once again, and you are welcome to today's class. In today's class, we are going to be talking about the basic vocabularies and phrases in Edo, right? In our previous class, we actually talked about the Edo people and culture and their language. We also attempted to lay a foundation on why it is the Edo language and not the Benin, as known to many. In today's class, we will talk about the vocab of the Edo language, how words are formed and how they are used in the language alongside completing the already laid foundation on the reason it is Edo language and not Benin language. So basically, what we are going to be doing today is number one, we are going to talk more about why we uh, we call it we call it Edo and not Benin. Why to an Edo man it is Edo language, not Benin language, right? Apart from that, we are also going to be looking at the vocabularies and the phrases, right? So moving on, basic vocabularies and phrases are the fundamental words and expressions that are essential for communication in a language. They are the building blocks for more complex language structures and are often used in everyday conversation. The combination of sound produces words. The sound system of the language is the building block of the language. This means that strings of sounds are combined to give you words. Words are then combined to give you phrases or sentences. Now, basically, what we are trying to say here is that, first of all, the basic vocabularies or vocabularies in whole is the the building block for anybody that wants to learn a language. In fact, anybody that speaks a language, the first thing they all know are vocabularies in the language. Simple sentences, phrases, words, etc. Now, we also say that now while the vocabularies are the building blocks for more complex conversation in the language, the words are sorry, the sounds of the language are the building block of these vocabularies, right? We said sounds produces words, the combination of sounds produces words, while the combination of these words are what produces what sentences and phrases, right? So we give example. For example, the combination of a plus gi plus a gives you aga, which means chair. We have the we have the p, we have the o, plus plus p plus o will give you ekpo, which means bag. So you have to combine sounds in order to get words, and what you have to do is combine words in order to get sentences and phrases. Do we understand? Are we following, please?
Yes.
Do I need to recap? Do I need to recap?
No, I
My
get.
time, maybe later, maybe later.
Okay, okay, no problem. So, basic vocabularies. First of all, we have the greetings. We have koyo, we have well done. Please mute your mic. Chinaza, please mute your mic. We have greetings like koyo, well done, obohian, welcome, etc. as you can see here, right? And then we have introductions. We have enime, oi, my name is Evo, AC, Oe, Ikere. Remember, I'm trying to break it down so that you can follow. And Edoman will say Ewesi, Ikere, or Oekere. I am from etc. In this case, AC is a name of a place, right? So we have common words which are Erae, which is food, ame, water, owa, house, etc. We have family members, iye, mother, era, father, or teno, we are brother, etc. Then we have numbers. We have we have taught numbers in our previous class. Okpa is one, Eva is two, Eya is three. And then we have basic phrases. We have say, thank you. Remember in our last class, I explained uwese and uwese. This this is the wrong spelling for the word uwese. This is the correct spelling. The reason is when you break this down, you have something like this. Wu ese, meaning somebody who died well, or as pidgin English we have it, you die well, you die well, right? So this is totally wrong. You are not appreciating the person, you are actually insulting the person when you spell it like this. So the word for do is ru. So basically, like I explained, English is a limited language. So why do we have this long word, this three lettered phrase, the three words phrase for just thank you? It's simply because the word thank you in Edo literally does not exist. What we have is you have done well. That is a form of appreciation. So this word is you do well, literally. U, which means you, ru, which means do, ese, which is well or good, or you have given gift, right? So you do well, or you did well, or you did good, whichever one is the translation. That is the appreciation we give. That is how we say thank you. So because it is an appreciation, we say thank you. That is the translation, right? Same thing goes with the second word, regui. Regui is simply don't be offended. Do not be offended. Regui. But we do not have the word for sorry. Regui. So we say sorry, right? We use it for sorry because it is the closest word for sorry. Then we have how are you, which is ve or ye, or ye, rapid speech, or ye. The way it is written orthographically, we say ve or ye, how are you, right? I will recap. I'm trying as much as possible to just read through it so that I can start explaining step by step, right? So these basic vocabulary and phrases are crucial for greetings and introducing oneself, asking for and giving basic information, showing politeness and courtesy, communicating basic needs and wants, and building a foundation for more complex language skills. Mastering basic vocabularies and phrase is the first step in learning a new language, and they serve as a foundation for further language development. Obowe Omanani Usalobwadebawe Ise. This is the greeting I told you. When you come to class, you must greet. Now, this basically says Obowe Omanani. Then prayer follows. You have greeted Obowe Omanani. Good morning, teacher. What follows? A prayer which says Usalobwadebawe. It said, God be with you. Amen. Right? In most secondary schools that teaches Edo language, this is how you greet your teacher when the teacher walks into the class. Next, we'll be looking at the basic rules that guides and builds up the Edo language. One, now this is where a lot of things comes in. I need to explain this part very well. Number one rule, subdotting of the E sound as E. Now, this, you have to subdot it. You have to put a dot under. It must be like this, right? For you to be able to pronounce the word echo, right? The E sound, you must put a dot in order for you to pronounce this word as echo. If there is no dot, you are simply pronouncing Èkó, which is Lagos. Echo here is belly. Èkó is Lagos, right? You see the difference. So that subdot does a lot of harm or good to a word if it is added in the wrong place or if it is omitted from a word or from the E, right? So we have echo and it is translated as belly. If the E was not there, it would have been, and it is translated as belly, then it is wrong. As the E is the dot is there, it therefore is belly, right? Do we understand? And then we have the O as O in Odo, which is husband, is compulsory, very compulsory, right? Let me come again. You must subdot the E sound, which will sound as E, in order for you to be able to spell echo, right? And you must subdot the O sound for it to sound as O in order for you to pronounce the word odo. If you don't add the dots on these sounds, for example, like I said, the air sound, if you do not add the dot on it, you will have echo, sorry, you will have echo and not echo. Echo is Lagos, echo is stomach, right? Now, this odo, if you don't add the dot in any of them, you will have the word odo, which is mortar. That's the mortar for pounding yam. But if you add it, you have odo, which is husband. So it is very compulsory to take note of these sounds, right? So how do you know? You first of all pronounce the word. What word are you trying to write? Is it the one with the O sound or is it the one with the O sound? For example, I want to write ufome, 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 U F. Now, the O sound you are hearing, O, is it the O or it is the O? Is it the O with a dot or the O without a dot? It's the O without a dot. Ufo, me. The A sound, the E sound you are hearing there, is it E or it is A? Meaning, is it the one with a dot underneath or the one without a dot? It is the one with a dot. So, you have ufome, ufome. Ọmọ, ọmọ, ọ, mi, ọ. You have ọmọ, it has a dot. That is you. So you pronounce and you listen carefully, right? Okay. So number 2, this is where it comes. No Edo noun should begin with a consonant or any of the digraphs a, e, o, and now. These digraphs are simply double articulated sounds in the language. You see these sounds, there are two sounds in one, there are two sounds in one. All of these sounds here are two sounds in one. They are vowel sounds, right? But they cannot begin a noun in Edo. They cannot begin a noun. What is a noun? A noun is a naming word, or according to how we were taught back then in primary school, a noun is the name of any person, animal, place, or thing. So a noun is a name, a naming word. So these sounds, these double articulated sounds or consonant sounds cannot begin a name of a person, cannot begin a name of a place, cannot begin a name of a thing, cannot begin any of these or an animal, right? So basically, This is where a lot of people get it wrong. This is because Edo nouns do not begin with a nasal vowel. These are nasal vowels, right? These are nasal vowels. These highlighted sounds are all nasal vowels. Remember when I taught you Edo Abidi, we have the oral vowels and we have the nasal vowels, right? So these are nasal vowels. They are double articulated sounds and they are nasal vowels, right? So no Edo noun should begin with a consonant or any of the digraphs a, e, o, and This is because Edo nouns do not begin with a nasal vowels. Now you see where people who say it is Benin are wrong, because the word Benin starts with a B, and Benin is a thing, is a naming word. The word Benin is a naming word. It is naming a people, it is naming a place. So it is wrong to say Benin, right? You remember how I explained it. So if it is Benin, then the very rule that guides it, automatically you have gone against that rule. Okay. So next we say no Edo word should end in a consonant other than the N in the digraph a, o, and which is not pronounced in speech because digraph represent a single speech sound. Example, this is Amen, right? This is the word Amen. Amen, right? See, except this, except a word is ending like this, except a word is ending like this in Edo, there is the Edo language, the Edo vocabulary does not permit any word at all to end with a consonant sound, except it carries any of these five nasal vowels. Any of these five nasal vowels. Do you understand? Any of these five nasal vowels. Now, an Edo man will pronounce this word. James as Egiemisi. It ends with what? With it is ending with a vowel sound. The E is a vowel sound. This I is a vowel sound. That is why you see an Edo man will say a saucy and not church. An Edo man will say a suku and not school. An Edo man will say a soppy and not shop. Simply because in the Edo vocabulary, words are not permitted to end with a consonant sound. It is a basic rule, right? Moving on, we have the number 4. The digraphs a, o, and are not written after the oral consonants b, e, we, and yi in Edo. This I will have to explain some other time because this is basically a linguistic feature, right? But what it means is that you cannot have one VBAN in Edo. It is not permitted when you are writing. These are for those people that already basically know how to speak Edo, but they wanted to learn the writing system, right? So when you write, see this VBAN, it is not permitted in Edo. So number 5, we have the digraphs a, o, and u are not written after the nasal consonant mi, ni, and ni. Some people will write ema as this, EMWE. Ema, sorry, AN. Yes, ema, it is wrong. The reason this is wrong is because is this This MW is a nasal consonant sound. And one thing that nasal consonant sound does is that they have a unique way of giving their traits to an oral vowel, right? they have a unique way of giving their threats to an oral vowel. So what they do, progressively, this MW nasalizes the A sound. So when you hear in this, it is not a nasal vowel that you are hearing. No. What you are hearing is this MW nasalizing this A. Okay, this is also a linguistic feature. So if you want to know more about it, you can just come to the DM. I will explain more. It says this is because any oral vowel that comes after any of them is automatically nasalized. This is a phonetic characteristics of the Edo language, as it is also the case in other linguistically related languages, right? Number 6, we have the R sound in owl, which is I, is written with a single letter R. The R sound in uro, wooden tray, is written with the D graph, which is the double arrow, whereas the R sound in uro, as in door, also called echo, is written with the D graph ROH. Know the difference. You see this R is silent, you have ow. This is voiced, it's not just voiced. In a way, when you pronounce it, you feel a vibration, uro, uro, while this is just flat, uro, uro, right? So I'm trying as much as possible not to dive into linguistic terms in all of this, because you are not familiar with those terms, right? So number 7, the negative marker E must be appropriately marked in Edo names and utterances. For example, some people do not know how to spell the word Aigwo Basimi, right? Aigwobasimi. Some of them spell it without the I. Now when you spell it without the I, what you are saying is you are changing the meaning automatically. You are saying Agwobasimi, meaning you wrestle with the Oba, you tussle with the Oba, right? It is totally wrong. The word is Ai, you don't. So the E sound there is a negation, it's a negative marker that says don't, don't. So you have I, not a. Some people also spell isosa with asosa. It is wrong. You have to put the I where it is necessary. How do you know when to put the I? If you know the right pronunciation, then you know how to write it properly. Aigwobasimi, Aigwobatakpen, right? So most of these names, right, the E sound actually comes after the first sound, after the first letter in this case, right? Okay. I hope we all are following, please, and I'm not rushing. Hello, are we together?
Yes.
Mm.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so number 8. All words must be written separately in their full form, e.g. uwu ese, literally you do well, you did well, you've done good. Do you understand? The reason for this is, remember I said in Edo, the way you write is not the way you speak, or the way you speak is not the way you write. You are permitted to even speak the way you write. For example, I can say USA, right? The only thing people will say, Onaigwa's Edo, you don't know how to speak Edo properly, you are just stuttering, right? That's the only thing they will say, right? But when you begin to write the way you speak, you will make a lot of blunders. For example, I want to say Ohoheva. You see the way I spoke? Ohoheva. This is it. Ho, ho, he, va. It is wrong because ordinary person that sees this will not know that you are talking about two chickens. They won't know. So what you need to do in writing is account for what exactly you are talking about. So you have ohoho and eva, two chickens. Ohoho, eva, two chickens. So you see, but with rapid speech, we are removing this one, blending it together. Ohoheva. Another example is eweva, e ewe, eva. You when you leave it like this, it is correct, but when you delete one of the e's, you have eweva, two goats. Rapid, one is rapid speech, one is the orthography, the correct way to write it. Now, if you see me do this like this, it is an informal way to write, but I prefer to write like this. The reason I do it like this is to show anybody who cares to know, any linguist that sees, that knows what they are doing, we know that yes, the reason this apostrophe is there is because there is a sound that has been deleted from this word due to rapid speech. A sound has been removed from this word, right? So that is the reason for that. Okay, so moving on, we said when these rules are applied faithfully, all Edo writers would have a uniform way of writing the language in a standard format. Now, this is where a lot of us get it wrong, most especially. I'm talking to those of us that write Edo a lot. Eh? And those of us who wishes to write it properly. Now, we have different written Edo on the space on the internet now. I try as much as possible to correct those that I can correct, and I'm not perfect. A lot of people also correct me and say this is how to write this and this is how to write this, right? So, but the main thing is when these rules are applied faithfully, all of us that wishes to write Edo language would have a uniform way of writing the language in a standard format. That is why we call it the standard Edo orthography. Now we say the above rules guide not just the way we speak, but also the written structure and word formation. And this leads us to the discussion on ground. Is it Edo language or Benin? Right? So I explained. Do I need to go through this again? Well, let me just read. As seen in the rule, the Edo language do not start a noun with a consonant sound. Hence, the reason, that reason alone is the reason the language which is against starting a noun with a consonant cannot itself begin with a consonant sound.